This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Well, next up is something that fans have been looking forward to for a long time. Well, in theory, something we thought we'd never see for sure. Bret Hart finally getting revenge on Vince McMahon. They're going to actually have a wrestling match, which I can't believe is real. Before we talk about all that, I want to know from your side of things, way back in the day, 1997, November, just a month or two after you had what would wind up being your last wrestling match against, no, I guess it was 11 months later. Yeah. So this is after you've retired. You've just given your spot to Kurt Hennig and you're now working in a backstage capacity for WCW. It's the old telephone, telegram, telewrestler. When did you hear about the Montreal Screwjob and what'd you think?
I'm pretty jaded. I think everything's a work.
Okay.
Be honest with you. I do. I think everything's a work. Where it's involved in this business, you know, did they go to lengths to make you believe that it was legitimate? You know, yeah, you know, punching Vince McMahon, if that actually happened, I don't think but a couple of people were in the room when it occurred. Maybe the two people involved, you know, the story that I've heard. It just seems like it's one of those controversial things that you got different people taking credit for it being work. You know, you hear about, you know, I heard Brad himself tell the story about punching Vince. I don't know if you could punch Vince McMahon and get away with it without the law getting involved. You know what I mean? It's,
right.
There's a lot to consider. I don't know. You know, I don't have the answer. You know, was it a legit deal? Who knows? Again, I'm the guy that didn't know you could say no to anything when your boss said, this is what I want, this is what you do. So I don't fall in that category of guys that said, no, I'm not going to do it. And he went, oh, okay, well, we'll do something else. So I'm probably the wrong one to actually ask about it.
When you were coming up, did you ever hear stories about promoters getting cute and trying to screw over the boys with a double cross finish?
No, they would just, in my day, they would just say, hey, we're going to beat you. And they would beat you on TV on the way out of their, you know, if you were leaving their company or their territory, they were going to get some mileage out of you. And they would just tell you point blank, you know, if you want to get paid on the way out, this is what we want. And guys did what they wanted because they wanted to get paid out, because in those days, people forget they held out 2 weeks of your pay.
Right.
So you would be gone and you still had 2 checks coming. You could get screwed pretty royally by a promoter, you know, back in the day on your way out of a company.
So let's pretend for a minute, you know, if what we've heard about the screw job is true, that Vince goes to Bret and asks him, you know, to lose and Bret's not willing to, how would that have been handled back in the day?
Well, if that word would have got to his opponent, there would have been some heat there, I would think.
Sure.
And the broad range of what could have happened is you could have just had an ugly ass piss fight, you know, pissing and moaning, and then the bell rings, and now you got just a ugly, non-drawing, non-fun to watch fist fight going on in the ring, which would have only lasted 45 seconds. And then what? You know, that's the worst case scenario you could have had. Not being in one of those situations, you know, I've never seen one of the guys revolt against a promoter and win that one. Later, when you had guaranteed contracts and all that stuff, things, I guess, changed. But I go back to the era when you worked for a promoter and he paid your salary, and that was the end of the story. So, you know, it's, who knows?
Let's talk about the match here. Bret's going to come out in, his jacket and jean shorts. Vince comes out on the ramp, cuts a promo saying this is WrestleMania, and therefore Bret deserves a WrestleMania size screwing. He says he spared no expense on a bunch of lumberjacks. And he said that Bret screwed Bret, Vince screwed Bret, and tonight Bret's family is going to screw Bret. So out come all the Harts, Bruce, Diana, the Hart dynasty, Natalia, etc. And Bruce is working as a referee, and Bret cuts a promo saying he's learned something about double crosses, and he talked to his family beforehand. They told him what was up. And tonight the Hart family is all united behind him, and Vince was screwed again. So they start the match, and Bret just destroys him to the point where when he's doing it with chair shots, people start to feel sorry for Vince McMahon, which is probably saying something. Ultimately puts him in the sharpshooter. He's killed forever. And, this is the last match for Bret Hart, and it's probably not the prettiest match. It gets -3 stars. One of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But I guess it was entertaining if you were a Bret fan and felt like Vince screwed him. I don't know, man. It's just weird that it's here. You were there when it happened. What'd you think?
I think it's like the dog that lives next door that barks all night and just has heat with you on a nightly basis because you never get a good night's sleep. Finally, that dog jumps the fence and gets run over by a truck. You thought you'd feel good about seeing it, but it was one of those things you couldn't look and you couldn't look away. And the dog just gets murdered by the truck, and you go, God, I thought I'd enjoy watching this, but that was pretty ugly because that was not good.
No, it was not.
And the more people got involved in it, the worse it got. Technology wise or technically, it was just not good.
Did you hear that? I mean, there was a rumor. I don't know if this is true, but allegedly the company was trying to get Earl Hebner involved in the match, which I guess would have made sense since they're really making it all about the screw job. Of course, he winds up not being here, but did you hear that?
No, I didn't know about that. That would have been an inside thing that they would have done as a surprise for everybody. They wouldn't have wanted that getting out, I'm sure. And I'm sure Earl got, according to him, hearing a couple of the interviews he's made over the years, he got so much flack for that. He wouldn't have done that just for a payoff, I don't think. Because he got a lot of shit over that, I believe.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.